Hello, I'm Don Mooers, and welcome to Montgomery Week in Review. With interest in immigration policy growing throughout our country, as well as right here in Montgomery County, our county government has reaffirmed its policy regarding our wonderful immigrant population. Chuck Short, Special Assistant to County Executive Ike Leggett, is here to tell us about our county's immigration policy, what it says, and what it likely faces. Friends of the Library, FOL, has a new president, Tom Thomson, and my gosh, he is here with us today. You join us to tell us about what the Friends of the Library are doing for our very fine Montgomery County Public Library system. The Maryland League of Women Voters has a list, or has developed a list of legislative priorities that have been judged by the membership to be of great importance in our state. Elaine Apter from the League is here to explain the process that the League followed and what we can look forward to during the remaining weeks of this General Assembly session. A nutritionist for the Women, Infant, and Children program of CCI Health and Wellness. Each one of these nutritionists helps women and children throughout our community live healthier lives. Shannon Meadows, who directs the WIC program for CCI Health and Wellness, will give us the details about what the organization does and how it's trying to improve the lives of its clients. Chuck, welcome.
Don, great to be back. Good to see you.
My gosh, as an immigration attorney, I can't tell you how many people say, oh my gosh, you must be really busy. And I say, well, I'm busy reading the newspapers. I'm busy looking at seeing what the White House comes up with. And I'm busy continuing to be proud of Montgomery County's policy, traditional policies about immigrants in our community. Tell us a little bit about what that policy has been under Ike Leggett and a little bit how it came about.
Thanks, Don. Well, I'm delighted to be here and delighted that you're proud to be a Montgomery County citizen. Our immigration policy is derived from what really are the values of our people, our values of understanding, our values of tolerance, our values of respect for all individuals.
I would say even embracing
I think that's right.
people around.
That's
yeah.
right. And as you know, you're a longtime resident of the county. Those are important to us. They've been important to politicians before Ike Leggett and before this county council. So our immigration policy simply takes those values and applies them to the situations we're facing today.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because right now, reading the White House directives and these things, it's not a friendly place right now to people who have a little bit of issue, some issues in their documentation, either on purpose or just by happenstance. It doesn't seem to matter. And Montgomery County, I think, would fit the definition of what they would call a sanctuary community, because you don't turn everybody over to the immigration authorities as soon as somebody is seen as maybe having some sort of minor immigration issue.
Well, we're not officially a sanctuary
Right.
community. We haven't taken a vote on it, and we don't meet the exact federal guidelines, but our practices are very close. And in summary, our policy, simply stated, is that we believe, we are certain that the enforcement of immigration law, federal immigration law, is exclusively the responsibility of the federal government. We don't get into it. We will not become part of enforcing federal immigration laws, and that is the basis of our policy. We also, in our social services programs, don't ask about nation of origin of individuals, immigration status
Right.
of individuals seeking county support. And that basically is our policy.
Also, in the long run, having this openness, doesn't it help our business community? And is that been affected at all with the policies, the national policies now?
Well, we hear from businesses all the time, particularly small businesses that rely very heavily on immigrant labor.
Well, not only that, I think just throw out, sorry, as the immigration attorney,
Yeah.
is that over half of the entrepreneurs starting new businesses in this country are immigrants.
And recently I was at a car dealer, and the car dealer told me that immigrants are heavy purchasers of automobiles, and their business has been significantly down since the election of the president, because immigrant individuals are not willing to part with their money right now.
Concerned that something might happen
That's
to
right.
them.
That's right.
You guys jump in, but there's one thing that keeps coming up in the news, and that's this 287G, secure communities, I think. And so can you, that's the federalization, I understand, of local police forces?
Well, it is widely misunderstood policy or law. It is a policy, I think, and it essentially allows for those are key words, allows for the deputization of local officials, local law enforcement to enforce federal immigration laws. That policy was in place for many years. Even during the Obama administration, they suspended it after many local police departments complained about how difficult it was to enforce. And the current administration has resurrected it. It's now apparently in place again. I want to stress, though, that it's voluntary on the part of local government, and in fact, we are not likely to participate in that program.
This level of uncertainty that's being created by all those 4 families living in Montgomery County must be quite high at the moment.
It is our one of our most pressing concerns right now are the number of people who are simply very insecure, heavily stressed out because they're unsure of where they are going to be tomorrow, where their children are going to be cared for. They're unsure as to whether they can go to the WIC program. You'll hear more about the WIC program in a few moments, to get the food they need for their children, simply because they don't know what new immigration implementation will mean to them.
We've got 30 seconds left. Any thoughts that you have? I mean, I know this is something near and dear to the county executive. Where do you see this happening in the battles coming
Well, I think it's important for our, particularly our immigrant residents, to the best of their ability, be sure that their local government will never be part of enforcement, that our social services will continue to be available to them. However, they ought to know, too, that we can't protect them from a federal organization. It's simply beyond the scope of local government.
All right. Support, but also keep your eyes open.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Chuck.
You're welcome.
We'll be talking about this a lot more.
We will.
Congratulations, President Thomson.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you that President Thomson, and knowing you through the years, I would find you a much more acceptable president than somebody else who's another president. But I'm not going to go into that here because it's not a political show. Your presidency of Friends of the Library, knowledge, and just Chuck Short talking about immigrants. I know so much of what the library has done to expand its collections, to expand its openness to this great diverse mosaic of our community. We're not here to talk about that, but I think just to be commended that hopefully that can continue on.
Well, thank you very much, and good to see you again, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's a great honor and privilege to be able to serve as the president of the Board of Trustees for the Friends of the Library of Montgomery County. We are celebrating this year our 35th anniversary.
Fantastic.
Which is really a testament to a lot of people whose shoulders that we on our Board of Trustees are standing on, and for all the people at the chapter level that's been doing just wonderful work in that area. We've got a lot of things going on to support the public library system. Our bookstores particularly are one of the major ways in which we support the libraries.
Can you stop right there? I just want to tell you, the Silver Spring temporary bookstore in the old library.
Yes.
I love it. I'm there a lot. Don't move it.
It's a wonderful place. It's really great. It's over on Colesville Road. Please do come over there. It's a gem. It really, really is. And one of the things our bookstores are doing, just for those of you who are vintage vinyl record lovers, we're having an auction over at our Rockville store coming up, which will be of vintage records. The catalog will be up on our website shortly for those of you who'd like to participate. In addition to that, we have our annual Library After Dark event, which is it's a fundraiser, but it's also an event in which we, along with the public library system, honor librarians there through a peer review type of selection by librarians, choosing librarians for their service, and they're honored at this event. And it's a wonderful, wonderful event, and that'll be up on the website as well for those of you who'd like to join us on April 8th.
Tom, what does the Friends of the Library do with the resources that you raise, the profits from your stores?
It's a nonprofit. There's no profit.
Revenue.
Revenue.
Pardon me.
The revenues are used in the form of grants that are provided to the public library system. and they will use that money for programs, equipment, and services. Everything is directed towards that.
So it's plowed right back into our public
It's
library
plowed
system.
right back into
That's
it.
terrific.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. It really is. And one final thing I want to mention too is we have a strategic partnership we just made with the Asbury Methodist Retirement Center.
Right,
up
tell
in
us about that.
Williamsburg.
What happens? What are you doing?
It's wonderful. It's a wonderful place. We did a authors talk there a couple months ago, and now we're going to make that into a regular program where we bring in local authors to give presentations on their books to the residents up there and for the general public.
Is there any chance of like videotaping that so it can be shown, say, on your website or YouTube or something, so Montgomery County can take it? Everybody can take advantage of it?
One of the nice things about being on a program like this and living in this county is that we get all these great ideas about what we can do in terms of having video, podcasts, and so forth of what we're doing that could be up on our site to help to.
I bet Montgomery Community Media would be interested in putting it out as well.
I'm sure they will be. I'm sure they will be, and we'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah. Let me ask this. You're president for 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, you want to look back and say, I Thompsonized this organization. How?
I want to look back and say and see how we, as a group, were able to work together as a board, as chapters, and as people who love and enjoy libraries to help make the system even better than what it is today.
What's the easiest way to join Friends of the Library?
Well, on our website, you can go there and you can easily fill out whatever applications there is, and it's very, very simple. And you'll get a card, and you're ready to go. And you can go to your branch libraries, I believe, as well, and get an application form
I would
as well.
say that is not the best way. The best way is to go to one of the Friends of the Library bookstores. Do that in person because you're there shopping.
Indeed.
And then you get your Friends of the Library card right there, you pay, and you get your discount right there, because that's one of the benefits as well. You get a discount on books by being a member of the Friends of the Library.
It's absolutely correct.
Yeah, that's what I was
You
gonna
get a
say.
twofer.
As a
Indeed,
member, what
indeed.
do I get? Yeah, as a member, what can I do?
I have there's a whole list I've got my card, I'm not going to pull it out.
Okay.
I am a proud member of the Friends of the Library, and it's something I want to shout to the rafters or wherever.
And to Elaine's point about putting video up on our site, will be this show's video, if allowed by this station, will be put up on our site as well to talk about and show how you can join and the methods you can join.
We've got
by.
5 seconds left. You want to look in that camera and tell people why they should join Friends of the Library?
Well, one of the best reasons why to become a member of the Friends of the Library is to take advantage of that our bookstores. They can provide you just wonderful, wonderful books, media, and tapes and so forth. Thank you.
Way over 5 seconds, but that was a great end. We have to take a break. We'll be right back. And we're back. We're back with the amazing Elaine Apter. Amazing Elaine Apter.
Hi there, and especially during the legislative sessions.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Now, you wear the Montgomery County League hat and you wear the Maryland League hat because you are, but today we're talking about Maryland.
Right.
The Maryland League.
Yeah, and we'll go further into Montgomery County too, but
talk
during
about
the state legislature session, Maryland contacts the local leagues, the counties, and says, what are your priorities? And we've come up with 3 general priorities, and a lot of it has affected what you're talking about in the
Let's
show
start
today.
at
The
number
first
1, number 2, number 3.
is making democracy work, increasing voter access,
Okay.
and redistricting, which has been on our plate for a long, long time.
Okay.
The second one is protecting the environment,
Okay.
clean water, mitigating climate change, and renewable clean energy. And the third one is probably the most important for those here, and that is social and economic justice, protecting the safety net for Maryland, the most vulnerable in Maryland.
And again, not politics here, but we don't hear a lot of discussion about any of those subjects coming at the national level right now. Are we more confident that in Annapolis these issues are being taken seriously in a positive way as opposed to tearing apart environmental issues, tearing apart some of these things in the social, tearing apart some of the democracy building
Right.
issues we
As
seem to see at
said
the
before,
federal level.
Maryland, we are lucky to be living in Maryland. Maryland is usually pretty forward in
Mm-hmm.
all of these, and especially like redistricting, we're really looking at that. But
But we've been pretty backward, to be
well,
precise
yeah,
here,
as
Elaine.
Ex-Governor O'Malley said, yes, there was gerrymandering during his
John,
term.
John Sarbanes'
But
district being the most gerrymandered in the
We've gotten
nation.
to the point where there's we're really looking at a redistricting commission. But what League of Women Voters also is, we are in the business of educating the public. We have a wonderful document called Report from State Circle. It's on our website. It goes through almost all the major bills by subject, if you're interested in health, education, public welfare, anything. You can look at the bills and the status, and this is published
Okay.
every 2 weeks.
Perfect.
Okay, you go from there. One more step, okay? You want to act. You see a bill, you want to act
Okay.
on it, we publish the elected.
Okay, good.
Gives you all the contact information for Montgomery County elected officials. So we want you to learn and we want you to act.
So I've been reading about a lot of Congress individuals who have been holding
Town hall meeting.
town hall meetings, and they have really gotten an earful. Is the League of Women Voters going to promote more participation by individuals in town hall meetings and in other opportunities for individuals to express themselves?
Basically, what we have done is forums and things on important issues. The Rossmore unit of the League of Women Voters discussion unit is going to have a discussion on the Affordable Care Act on March 8th in Leisure World, and just an open discussion as to what's going on,
Okay.
what they hear as opposed to facts. So yes, we try to educate people as much as possible as to what's going on.
We have a little bit over a minute left only.
Will the league be working towards trying to, over the coming next several months, to register more voters?
Oh, that is definitely, in fact, one of the bills we just testified for was same-day voter registration.
Okay.
That's a biggie for us. So as much, and we've been on lawsuits throughout the country as far as voter suppression goes, and trying to get people more access to the polls and to registration. So that is one of our main things that's under our Making Democracy Work, which is an umbrella program for the next 2 years.
Boy, we've got to
4
make
years.
democracy work, don't we, in this
Yeah.
country more than anything else.
It's not easy, but we're trying.
All right. Well, that's the final word, Elaine. Thank you. Keep
Okay.
trying hard.
Will.
We'll be right there with you. Well, we go from all these great organizations to another great organization.
Yes.
How are you doing? Welcome, Shannon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This is your first time on the show.
It is.
So we are a nice group of people.
You seem very nice. Wonderful.
So the Women and Infant and Children program at CCI, Health and Wellness, as I understand it through the years, CCI is the designated organization for the federal government for this Women, Infant, and Children, the so-called WIC program here in Montgomery County, a little bit in Prince George's County, as I understand.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do? Because it's really, really important.
Well, the Women, Infant, and Children program is a supplemental nutrition program for low-income women, infants, and children. It's been in existence over 40 years, and CCI has administered it in Montgomery County for over 20 years. It's a wonderful program where, we're really spending a lot of time providing information to new moms, postpartum moms, about not only the benefits of nutrition, but also breastfeeding, what types of foods to offer, portion sizes. Also, physical activity is extremely important.
So you're looking at, it reminds me a little bit about, in our first segment, Chuck Short, that we want every person who's in our community to be healthy, to be to be
Definitely.
taking, I mean, not, we don't, it's not in a taking care of thing, but we want everybody to succeed. Is
Yes.
that accurate?
Yes. Health is the greatest wealth, in my opinion. It's not my quote, but it's one of my favorites. And next month also is National Nutrition Month.
Okay.
March is National Nutrition Month, which is it's a program by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics to promote healthy eating and physical activity. Their theme this year is,
Move or eat well?
That's right.
Move and eat well. Something like that.
something like
I know
that.
Chuck's got a question.
Shannon, you mentioned the WIC program serving new mothers, postpartum. I know that prenatal care is so important.
It
Does
is.
WIC do anything for prenatal moms?
We screen to find out whether they're receiving prenatal care, and if they're not, we make referrals for prenatal care. We have prenatal services within CCI that we can refer them to, as well as other prenatal clinics that can provide
Do you help
services.
them with food or anything like that?
We provide lots of healthy foods, and right now we issue checks that are for specific WIC foods that are meant to provide, specific nutritious foods that are meant to provide certain key nutrients that pregnant women need: calcium, protein, vitamins A and C, iron. And we'll be transitioning to an electronic benefits card in May, which will be beneficial to a lot
And
of
they
our.
can use that in any grocery store? Or?
They can use it anywhere in Maryland as long as the stores are authorized WIC vendors. Not all stores are authorized, but there are lots of them that are.
The big chains are.
Yes,
Correct, yeah.
most of the big chains, yeah.
Shannon, this is such a great program for,
Thank you.
moms and for their children.
Actually, would you say, even, I mean, for all of us?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
the
Healthy kids are
benefits are
good.
just fantastic,
Yeah.
overall for society and for the families and for the community.
Sorry to disturb your question.
Not at all.
Go ahead. Go.
But how would a family, a mom, for example, find out about your program and get entry into that program?
We go to a lot of health fairs. We go out into the community a lot. Hopefully this will help. Just give information to moms who maybe aren't aware of the benefits of our program for vulnerable families. But we try to get the word out.
Do you deal through Montgomery County Public Schools?
I know that we've gone to some health fairs and things like that, and we've worked with Head Start programs.
What's your biggest challenge, would you say? It'd be great to be at 100%,
Yeah.
and you try to get as close, but what biggest challenge?
I think in terms of
Anything.
I think in terms of just being healthy, eating healthy, physical activity, I think the environment is a challenge just because there are so many fast food restaurants serving very calorie dense, large portions, and they're so abundant that it's, and they're easy. They're convenient for parents. So oftentimes busy parents are, making those choices instead of maybe some healthier choices that they could make. Physical activity is always a challenge.
The screen that these kids are in front of, put in front of, yeah.
Yes,
Got
that's
to
a
turn
huge
off that
problem.
screen.
Yes. A lot of
Yes,
sedentary
all
time with
kids.
this.
All of us.
Yeah.
All of us, yes.
Yeah,
You optimistic?
of course. Yes.
Why?
Well, I see us making a difference every day in the families that we talk to. I know they are extremely grateful for the services that we provide. They're able, just little tidbits on little tips that they can use to have their child, try a new vegetable or be more physically active. So all of these tips are promoting, good, healthy behaviors that will last a lifetime and improve their health in the long term as well as now. So yeah, and Montgomery County is a wonderful county, honestly. And I know that the way
Got 5
services are
seconds.
coordinated, is also beneficial living in Montgomery County, and the way the community works together.
Well, I know CCI is right there working
Yes.
together. That's why it's a CCI web.
Yes.
And with all of these. I want to thank you, and I want to thank you, and I want to thank you, and I want to thank you.
you, Don.
And I want to thank all of you in the viewing audience for joining us for this week's edition of Montgomery Week in Review. I'm Don Mooers, inviting you to join us next week at this very same time.